There is a verse in the Bible, and the practices it describes are associated with something neuroscientists can now actually measure happening inside your body. Your heart rate drops, your stress hormones decrease. The part of your brain that keeps you stuck in panic and worst case scenario thinking, it quiets down. And the wildest part, Paul wrote this from a prison cell, not a retreat center, not a mountaintop, a Roman prison, chained to a guard, facing possible execution. And instead of spiraling, he wrote a prescription for peace that modern brain science is only now catching up to. Today, I'm going to show you what happens inside your nervous system when you follow Paul's instruction, and why God may have designed your brain to respond this way all along. The verse is Philippians 4, 6-7. But before we get into the science, you need the context, because context changes everything. Paul is writing to a church he loves, the church at Philippi, people who supported him, prayed for him, genuinely cared about him. And at the time of writing, Paul is in chains. He doesn't know if he's going to live or die. So when he writes this, he's not writing from comfort. He's writing from experience. This is a man who found something that worked when everything around him was falling apart. Here's what he says. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Most of us have read that on a poster or a coffee mug, but Paul is laying out a sequence, a specific process, and when you break it down, what he's describing aligns remarkably well with what neuroscience now tells us about how to calm a dysregulated nervous system. Let me show you what I mean. Do not be anxious about anything. Paul is not saying just stop being anxious like it's a switch you flip. The original Greek word, merimnao, means to be pulled apart, divided in your mind, mentally scattered. Paul is naming the experience. He's saying, I know your mind wants to fragment right now, but don't surrender to it. Here's what's happening in your brain when anxiety hits. Your amygdala, the alarm center deep inside your brain, hijacks your thinking. It floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate shoots up, your muscles tense, your breathing gets shallow, and the rational part of your brain, the part that thinks clearly and sees the bigger picture, it goes offline. In plain English, you can't think your way out of a panic response because the thinking part of your brain just got shut down. That's why anxiety feels so out of control. It's not a character flaw, it's a brain state. So what does Paul say to do first? Pause. Recognize the anxiety. Name it. Choose not to be carried by it. That's what psychologists now call a cognitive interrupt. You become aware of the spiral before the spiral becomes you. And it matters that Paul says this before he gives the solution. You can't apply a remedy to something you haven't first acknowledged. And here's the shocking part. Paul's solution wasn't to think harder, but in every situation, by prayer and petition. He says to bring it to God, not to suppress it, not to pretend it's not there. Bring it. Every situation. All of it. Here's what researchers have found. When people engage in focused relational prayer, not just recitation, but actually talking to God the way you'd talk to someone you trust, the brain regions involved in connection, empathy, and safety light up. The same areas that activate when you're speaking with someone who makes you feel safe. But what's even more significant is what happens to your nervous system. Slow, focused, spoken aloud prayer stimulates the vagus nerve. You don't need to remember the name. Just know it's basically the master switch between stress mode and rest mode. When it gets activated, your body stops acting like it's under attack. Heart rate slows. Breathing deepens. Stress hormones come down. Your body shifts out of fight or flight. Not because you forced it, but because the practice itself triggered the shift. Paul didn't know the science behind it, but the God who designed the system also inspired the practice that engages it. But prayer isn't actually the most surprising part of the verse. This next word may be the most neurologically important word in the entire passage. With thanksgiving, Paul doesn't just say pray. He says pray with thanksgiving. That's not a suggestion, it's built into the process. Gratitude, genuine, expressed thankfulness, triggers the release of dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine is that feeling of something good just happened. Serotonin is that deep, settled sense of, I'm okay right now. Your body's own calm down chemistry. Several studies suggest that practicing gratitude actually reduces reactivity in the amygdala, that same alarm center we talked about earlier. The fear center of your brain becomes less reactive, and gratitude helps bring back online the region responsible for emotional regulation and clear thinking, the exact part of your brain that anxiety shuts down. Petition without thanksgiving is just worry with better posture. But when you combine honest prayer with genuine gratitude, you're engaging a system God wired into your body from the beginning. And this is where Paul makes a promise most people read too quickly. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. The word guard here, phrorio in Greek, is a military term. It means to garrison, to post a soldier at the gate. Paul is saying that when you pause, pray, and give thanks, God's peace doesn't just show up. It stands guard. It protects the very places anxiety was trying to break into, your heart and your mind. And notice he says it transcends all understanding. Your circumstances might not change. The diagnosis might still be there. The relationship might still be broken. The bills might still be due. But something shifts inside you that you can't fully explain. Because some of you have been trying to guard your own mind for years, controlling every outcome, solving every problem, preparing for every worst-case scenario, and you're exhausted. Peace was never something you were meant to manufacture. It was something God promised to provide. You do the bringing, He does the guarding. Science can measure the stress hormones coming down. It can track the fear center, quieting. It can show the clear thinking part of your mind coming back online. But it cannot explain why a man in chains could write about peace that surpasses understanding, unless that peace was coming from somewhere science cannot reach. If your nervous system has been running on high alert, if you've been carrying anxiety like it's just part of who you were not designed to live that way. God built a calming system into your body, and the practices Paul describes engage that system, not as a magic formula, but as a daily practice, a rhythm of surrender. Pause, pray, give thanks, and let Him guard what you were never meant to protect on your own. Drop a comment. What's one thing you're grateful for today? Like this, if it changed how you read Philippians 4:6-7. And subscribe if you want biblical truth explained through how your brain actually works. I'll see you in the next one.